Here at the lab. It's just about the end of the year. We're 30th of December, it might be, something like that. So this is some time to clean up some mess. But we're not cleaning up mess. We're working on the March, of course. Stuff and things happening on that one there. There's always things going on. There's some things that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I've decided that the Christmas break time period is with some not huge things, lots of little things that hopefully will add up to a quite good thing. Keen eyes will spot instantly that there is some carbon fibre and fiberglass here. Yes, I'm going to use some fiberglass. It's not all carbon fibre. That gets a bit pricey, and fiberglass has the advantages, a little bit more flexible, but kind of a bit like Kevlar. So carbon fibre for the looks and to reduce the weight, couple of layers of that and nice stiffness and everything. And then if I've bashed it into something and it's going to smash that, then there's a couple of layers of fiberglass in behind it to try and hold it together a little bit. And if all else fails, then it's not important stuff, because what we're making today is, well, it's probably going to take more than a day, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's going to take a wee while. We're finally replacing the side skirts on this thing. These have been on here since word go. I'm pretty sure they haven't been replaced. These bits maybe. These bits here are the original ones that I made for this car. This is the second car. So they are looking quite ratty-tatty. Very, very second-hand. Actually, there's a patch in here somewhere that I did a reasonable job of. I can't quite see it. Oh, it must be here. There you go. Look, I lined up the... with the poor lighting, you can barely see it. So I'm just running around and trying to make this more betterer. There's a new shape. You'll see that when I get that far, which will be shortly on the video. It'll be a couple of, well, 4 or 5 hours, maybe tomorrow for me. So there's some things been happening under here. I chopped off a section of the factory sill that runs back to here. There was no reason for it to be there other than to jack the car on the hoist. That's the only thing it was doing. So I removed that entire section, which was a couple of kgs of metal actually, and I've put a little spigot on one of these bolts. You can actually see a bolt there. There. See that bolt there? There's another one that's up in here. And I've put a little spigot on that. It's very short, very small, doesn't waste stuff all. And when this thing goes on the hoist now, I can slip this tube over that and use that as a jacking point, like that, lifting point. So that's a couple of kgs out of the car. If I really, really wanted to, I could take the little spigot off there as well, but I'm not going to because it's too much hassle. These diffusers on the back of the side skirts / pods, look how beaten up they are. Used to be a lot narrower because of that section of chassis, of sill and everything, so these are much bigger now, which is ducting air up to the other side of the tyres on the back, and I'm going to get a little scoopy arrangement going on inside there. Through there, see there's air goes through there, and I'll direct it at the brakes and try and cool those down. Speaking of brakes and cooling them down, we've got tiny little wee itty bitty cute little diffuser thingies on the splitter now. That, pardon me, not very big, but that's going to do the same thing. So I'll have a duct of sorts or a deflector or whatever. I'll mount it on that suspension arm because, yeah, it'll rise up a little bit when the car's on the ground, but you'll be able to duct that and blast it straight in there at the brakes, and hopefully that'll keep those nice and cool. And there'd be if it doesn't screw it up completely, there'll be a downforce advantage there. How much it'll be, next to nothing. I mean, model aeroplanes have bigger wings than that, don't they? So end plates, I got a bit carried away with the thickness on these, on the splitter end plates. I finally made those. They're pretty damn strong, a lot stronger than they need to be. So I've used, that's just tape. It's a couple of layers of tape on the inside, on that angle there, to get us some really good bonding onto here, so it just won't come off, you know. And on the bottom side, I used aluminium. Not because it needed the strength, but that gives us a bit of abrasion resistance, right? So if we bottom out, that's going to last a lot longer than carbon fibre will. Carbon fibre will just destroy itself, just grind away to nothing very, very quickly. That will take a few hits before it goes. It's not tungsten. You could chew through it eventually, and of course if it grinds it'll get hot and that makes the resin soft and it could just fall off, but we'll see. Right, speaking of resin, I'm about to conjure some up. It's a pretty hot day, so I'll have to work quite quickly or the resin will go off in the pot, and there's a lot to do. I may do just one skirt at a time. That's about 300 grams worth of resin. If I mix up a batch of 600, I'll never get through it. It'll go off in the pot. Right, that is just absolute caca. It's about 12:30 or something. Don't you just love the sound of carbon fibre snap crackling and popping out of its mould first thing in the morning? It's about 7 something or other. One of them came out, I'm going to say 95%. There's some things that aren't perfect. This bit gets chopped off anyway. Couple of little issues, but hey, this is a hand lay. It was too hot. The bulk of it is pretty good, and the other section that gets joined onto the front, as per that on the original design, I'm going to bond those two pieces together. So there will be a join that will be visible through here. I'll just try and do a reasonable job of it. This front section is going to get absolutely smashed to bits with stones. Too hard to get to that side. Back to this one. As you can see, it gets just a little bit of a hard time, and especially this piece under here. That's obliterated. So whether I do that bit in carbon fibre or not, that may end up just being aluminium, just simply because it's just going to get smashed to bits. So this one came out all right. That one that I've now, hold fire, made the other one go away so I don't drop it. This one I've already trimmed it and everything. A couple slightly bigger issues. They're not really, it's not the end of the world. I can clear coat over that and it'll probably mostly go away. It is the side of a race car. Someone's going to stand on that at the end of the day. That's probably the first event it goes to. Someone will think that it's a good idea to stand on it and it'll smash it. It's strong, but it's not that strong. This is a piece that I cut out so you can see the thickness there, and you know, it'll get a little bit stiffer than that with time, but it's not designed. It's not designed for standing on. So there's the original one, which is, I'm not going to say it's dead, but it's looking very, very, very second-hand, isn't it? Some extra holes. I'll put some vents in the back there, which didn't really work out. Could have incorporated that into our carbon fibre ones, but didn't want to. I think I said earlier, this fake carbon fibre wrap has actually done, I think the life of the car perhaps. Might have been redone at some point, but it certainly had a hard time anyway. By fluke, I've managed to do the same. Not that that matters. It doesn't line up with anything else. It's not a big deal. I changed the shape just because less material, right? So it's a shorter distance from here to here than what it is to go all the way up around there, and it'll look a little bit nicer maybe, and just changing things up. And also that's now uphill, so it creates a little bit of a, might create some downforce, you'd hope, and it may or may not guide it towards the vent at the back there. It might actually guide it away, but who knows. Speaking of weigh, what does it weigh? Well, that puppy there, that's 575 grams. It's, you know, 1.5 cans of Coke. That one there, that's 1,108 grams. I don't know why we're worrying about the 8, but that's 1,100 grams. So that's half the weight. That's 532 grams lighter. So that's pretty good. If we do that on both sides, which I see no reason why we shouldn't. I weighed them both yesterday. in the molds, and they were within 30 grams of each other, so at least resin application was consistent. It's over a kg, just over a kg, just in these one pieces. And then we've got the front pieces to go on there as well, and then if I do this bottom section here as well, we're probably maybe 2 or 3 kgs lighter overall. So that's a pretty good gain. The stuff that's good is really good, and the stuff that's not good is really not good, but that's fixable. Time to go inside, have breakfast and all that, and come back out and carry on. Oh, we're going to test fit it? Yeah, let's test fit it. Ta-da! Yeah, some things to sort out. That would be where that hole goes. That one, going to move that, and you see that edge of that panel there doesn't line up, so we'll trim that. The edge of the guard actually does pretty much sit right on the edge of the radius of that bend there, which is choice, fluke. Probably won't on the other side, but does on this side. That'll look heaps better. Real carbon fibre, funnily enough, looks heaps better than fake carbon fibre. Now I've got to do all the fake carbon fibre. Delete. All right, that bit's screwed on, mostly. There's a couple of things that happen back here that's not done. And there's a bracket. Well, there was. That's probably going to change. There was a bracket under here. Is it kicking around? It's on the bench somewhere. Basically, it went from underneath here and it came up to the top corner of the original side skirt to give it some triangulation to stop it doing this, going up and down. We don't have that sort of arrangement anymore. There's not much point in tagging it onto the outside here. So there'll be some sort of a bracket or something, or a foam insert or whatever. Something will happen with that. Other sides fitted as well. Oh, hang on. There you go. See, exact same deal. It's fitted. This is the nicer one. So there is a little defect just here that needs fixing. A couple actually, 3, 4, 5. There's a few, but overall that's pretty good. I'll just fill that with resin at some point when it's not stinking hot. Should come out here when it's a bit colder and do that sort of thing. The next thing we needed was these bits on the front. I think I talked about those. So I fabricated some things. There you go. Just nearly caught the cord on the splitter end plates there. That one's just scrap. Originally I was just going to see the process for making it to create the shape, and then start from scratch and just do 2 in one piece. And I kind of got a bit carried away with this one and ended up using it. So that's a piece of scrap, and it's been, I don't really want to touch that because I just washed my hands, but just for you guys, there we go. It's got a bit of a funky shape to it. There's lots of curves and angles going on all over the place, and I have radiused. There you go, you can see that. I can't see that. The screen's all wonky. It's flatter on the inside, trust me. This one's nicer actually. I have radiused the corner. Is it going to tip over? Yeah, there we go. Like that, see? Just like that. So the side skirt, this is for the right hand side one. So the side skirt's here, it bashes up against that there, and it's got a nice radius on it now, instead of having what we had before, which was basically just, there's one piece here and then the other one like that, real sharp angle. So how much drag reduction are we going to have from that 55 millimeters of radius instead of an angle? I don't think it matters when you've got 1,000 horsepower at the motor. I don't think we really care about that. It's just going to look nicer, right? Hopefully, when that comes out of that mold, that will look quite nice. Sorry about flickering lights. It is annoying me. Hopefully not you too much. If that looks a little bit shonky, like somebody's just taken all the offcuts and stuck it on the inside of it to make the most of all the carbon fibre that he's using, then that's because that's exactly what I did. There is, I think, 3, maybe 4 layers of carbon fibre over the whole thing. One way and then one the other, with the grain, the whatever, the weave, and then all the offcuts have just been stuck around on the edges where it needs to be strong, where there'll be screws and all that sort of carry on. So yeah, it looks a little bit shonky on the inside. It definitely won't look shonky from the outside because of that. It may look shonky because of other reasons, but it was, I think, a nice uniform. This one looks a little bit better, eh? Nice uniform layer on the outside. And I did think of something. I wanted to make sure that I had these with the grain in the right direction. It's unlikely they'll perfectly line up. So I took it over to the car and I marked it. That's what these marks here are, to tell me which way the weave, I can see grain, it's not really grain, it's not wood, which way the weave is orientated, and made sure that when I put the first layer on there, which of course is the top layer, the one that we're going to see, made sure that was correct and in the right orientation. Now, it might not be exactly the right angle, but it's at least in the general direction, and it shouldn't look too bad. That's empty now, so it's time to go inside. It is New Year's Eve, and it must be 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, or who knows. It's late. Oh, dust on the moustache. That looks terrible, doesn't it? Never mind. I hope everyone had a good Christmas, and yeah, it'll be New Year's Day or something, even later maybe by the time you see this. So I hope you had a good New Year's Eve, and hopefully this year's going to be a good one. I do have, it's bloody shiny in there. I cut that last night. I do have a plan with the car. I have a target, a bit of a goal. It's a long way away, but it's lurking, and there's things that I'm doing to achieve that target / goal / it's not a dream, it's not that big of a thing, and if we get there, it's not really that big of a thing, but we'll just do it and go, cool, that was awesome, and we'll move along, we'll do something else. Superlap's open the entries. If you want to do Superlap, get into it. There's we need a minimum number of cars to get out there and run, and I really want to run this season. I've tried to line all up, get all my ducks in a row as best as I can so I can do the season. The wrong hand, can't use that hand to hold the phone and show you. That has started playing up again, damn it. The old cortisone injection is obviously worn off, and it's a little bit ouchy from time to time, so we'll see what happens when we drive the car, or I drive the car at Manfield. It's very risky, isn't it? I haven't driven it in a wee while. We'll do all these changes and then we'll drive all the way down to Manfield, 5.5 hours or whatever it is to get there, 6 hours probably with the trailer. And there's only one day, and you go out on the track, and if it's not right, that was a hell of a long drive to find out it was not right. There is a auto addict day at Hampton Downs. I think it's maybe the 8th or 9th or something like that. It's the weekend before, can't be the 8th or 9th. We're racing on the 19th at Manfield, 12th. It's probably the 12th at Hampton Downs. So I could do that, although there's a thing, and then there's another one, actually there's another day at Manfield on the 18th. But it's that thing, the amount of people that I've seen that have gone out and tested their cars the day before a race day and broken them, and then they couldn't compete. And you sort of think, well, it would have broken on the race day anyway, but at least you might have got a lap or two in and got some points, rather than run up the practice and then break it and then you get nothing on the race day. So things to consider. We'll see what the weather's doing and all that sort of carry on, whether I've finished fluffing around with all this stuff and things. We've taken about 10 kgs, I reckon, out of the car over the last little bit. If I count the wing and the roof, it starts adding up. There might be 15 or something like that. We're heading towards 20 kgs in the last sort of towards. Let's just say it's 15. It's not 20. But if you put 15 kgs in a car that only weighs 12 kgs, I think 1200 kgs. I think you'd see that in lap times, depending on the driver, if they were consistent. I think if you put that much weight into the car as ballast, I think you'd see it slow down a little bit. So here's hoping it'll go quicker. Yabba yabba. That's enough. All right. Thanks for watching. Cheers, boy.